Hi guys, welcome to Top Table Gaming. You're here with your host Top Table Ben, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different to the other videos that I have already produced. So those of you that know me, those of you that have played against me in tournaments or kind of ever seen anything I've posted in any of the Middle-earth Facebook groups, I am a massive fan of Minas Tirith. I love the aesthetic, I love the silver armour, and I love that kind of cohesive look that a Minas Tirith army has. And for me, one of the things that are really, really iconic about a Minas Tirith army is the bases and obviously the White City. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be showing you guys how I paint up my Minas Tirith bases. As I said, this is a new type of video for me. So if you like it, make sure you pop that in the comments below. If you don't like it or if there's anything that you think I can change, again, make sure that you let me know so I know what to improve on for the next video. So I'm not going to ramble on for too much longer. I'm going to show you what I'm going to be painting up and we're going to get cracking with it. See you in a bit.
To the wall! Defend the wall! Over here! Return to your post! Send these foul beasts into the abyss!
So I am going to be painting up these bases made by GenerationShift. If you haven't heard of these already, they are really worth going and checking out on Facebook, GenerationShift 92. They are superbly sculpted and they are perfect for Minas Tirith. Now these are made of resin, so there might be a release agent which is coating the bases. So it's always worth giving them a good scrub in some soapy water and with a used toothbrush, just to make sure that you're getting rid of all that release agent. Otherwise you do risk the paint chipping off. Once you've given them a good scrub, pop them to one side, let them dry off before we get on to the priming. For priming, I like to use Army Painter Leather Brown Spray. This acts as both a primer and a base coat, so it does two jobs in one. If you don't have any Army Painter Leather Brown Spray, you can always undercoat in Chaos Black and then give them a base coat of Steel Legion Drab. It's a very similar colour, so you should get a very similar effect. Once they're fully undercoated and painted, this is what you should be left with. Now this is where the fun starts. So first off, we're going to be using some Nuln Oil. Make sure you give it a good shake because it can go a little bit glossy if you don't give it a good shake in the first place. And what we're going to be aiming to do now is blackline in between each of the bricks. Now I'm using quite a large brush for this, so this is a size 2 Artist Opus brush. The reason I'm using a large brush is it holds more of the wash and makes it a little bit easier and a little bit more consistent to get that colour. The aim here is to fill in between every single brick with this black wash, with trying not to get any wash on the bricks themselves. If you do get a little bit of overlap, it's not the end of the world because there will be some natural variation in rocks anyway. Next up, we're going to be doing some dry brushing. For this, I'm using a large base brush, and for the first colour, I'm going to be using Rakarth Flesh. Make sure you give the bottle a really good shake, and make sure you've got some tissue on hand to be able to wipe the excess off your brush. Because Rakarth Flesh is quite thick, it does go on quite well, and you want to make sure that you are doing this in successively thin layers rather than in just a single thick layer. You can always put more paint on, and it's very difficult to take paint off. It's going to be easier to paint against the grain of the bricks. If you go with the bricks, then you are likely to get that paint in the gaps where you really don't want them. Make sure to paint around the backs and the sides of all of the bases as well. You don't want to be leaving anywhere this brown colour. For my next highlight, I am going to be using Pallid Witch Flesh, and I'm going to be using exactly the same brush as I used last time, so the large base brush. I'm not actually even going to rinse it out between the two different colours. And the reason for this is it will help kind of blend between Rakarth and Pallid Witch Flesh, so you don't kind of get a really harsh transition. Now bear in mind that Pallid Witch Flesh is a layer paint, so it is slightly thinner than Rakarth Flesh, so you might need to wipe off a little bit more on your paper than you do with the Rakarth Flesh. Again, go against the grain of the brick so you don't get any paint in between the bricks. Now remember, you can always build this up in successive layers. You don't need to do one big layer all in one go. And in fact, you'll probably get a better effect if you go back over a couple of times. Again, make sure you're going over the backs of the base and around the sides to make sure that you're covering all that kind of brown area around the back. Now, you might be happy with these bases as they are now, and for rank and file troops, you might be more than happy with this. However, if you want to take it to the next level, like I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to be edge highlighting some of these bricks with Pallid Witch Flesh. Now I'm only going to be doing this against two edges of the bricks, and that is just to give them that little extra highlight, and I'm going to be doing that across every single brick on this base. Once you're done, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. My last step, I'm going to be coming back to the large base brush with some Abaddon Black, and what I'm going to be doing is using it to paint around the rim of the base. This might need two coats as you want to water down the Abaddon Black so that you don't get that kind of streaky looking finish. And once this is done, you should have something that looks like this. So there it is, guys. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. It was very basic, very simple, but this is as much me kind of trying to hone what I'm doing at home and trying to do some sort of tutorials at home, as much as kind of showing you guys how to paint Minas Tirith bases. It was very, very simple, but I hope that maybe somebody out there kind of got some insight and some kind of ideas of things that they can do. As I said, super simple to do. If you want to get hold of some of these bases, they are by Matt Davis of GenerationShift. So go look him up on Facebook. They are absolutely superb. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you click the like button below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And make sure you go and check out all the links in the description below so that you can help us support the channel. You can follow us on Twitter. You can join the Top Table Gaming Community Facebook page. And you can also follow us on Instagram as well. It's great to have some input from you guys and to get some interaction from the wider community. So that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed. I've been Top Table Ben, and I will see you guys in the next video.